So me and a very close friend of mine have this thing where we're always trying to send each other new music. Especially when it comes to New Music Fridays, we're always waiting to see which new artists we put each other on, as well as artists we're familiar with who have released a new project. And in this particular case, he will put me onto a group of 3 guys who would completely blow my mind. A project that we both overlooked in 2020 is now something that we would now be latching onto this year. And now that I've listened to this EP, there's quite a few things that I want to get off my chest, alongside speaking about how well made this EP is. So, without further ado, my name is Archibald III, and in today's video, I'll be speaking about the esteemed Hablot Brown and their EP OPAQUE. I now request upon my intro to be played. So one thing that kind of frustrates me when discovering new music is this one particular genre it gets placed in, and that is the alternative genre. And as a quick definition, alternative essentially means something that isn't classified as mainstream. So any song or project or artist that isn't sort of deemed to be mainstream hip hop, rock, R&B or jazz or country will be put into this other category known as alternative. And I guess my issue from that mainly stems from the fact that when you listen to this EP, even though it isn't mainstream jazz or R&B or neo soul, it's still an alternative version of that particular genre. Now hear me out. Rather than placing it in the alternative genre, it should be put in as alternative jazz or alternative neo soul or alternative R&B, rather than just slapping it in this other category that could house so many different projects that span across so many different genres. And so it makes it difficult when you're actually looking for new music within this particular area. You find yourself having to mine through different things that either might be your taste or might not be your taste. But having it broken down and having a centralized area where you can have alternative jazz, alternative R&B, alternative hip hop as a particular category will make it a lot more easier to discover these particular artists. And yes, even though there are dedicated playlists, yes, even though there are maybe dedicated sections within these digital streaming platforms, it's kind of annoying how even genres such as grime aren't categorized as its own genre. You still have this thing where you look at a grime album and it says hip hop or rap, when there's so many different forms of hip hop and rap in today's day and age. However, on the flip side, you can argue that when you do listen to these projects, that not every song is particularly the same. And so sometimes classifying them even within a subcategory of the alternative genre might be a bit more difficult than some people anticipate it to be. And so now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can actually go back to the main focus, that is Hablot Brown. Now, when you listen to this EP, you fully understand how amazing these guys are. Everything from their vocals to how well mixed the songs are, as well as how well produced and their instrumentals used, just makes everything so much more great for a listening experience. It honestly reminds me of how artists like Tom Mishk, FKJ and Isaac Waddington produced their tracks, and within that lane of music is something that I absolutely love and completely enjoy. And it's interesting because at the time of this video, I just discovered that these guys actually went on tour with Tom Mishk. So it's very nice to see that these groups of guys are in alignment with artists such as Tom Mishk, and I really do hope that they fall in alignment with other artists such as FKJ and more. And another thing to note as well is that from when they're producing their tracks, you can hear that these are things that are prevalent in their previous projects. The Selection Black Label EP that they delivered in 2018, but also their Smiley Drive project back in 2017. You can see how well developed their artistry has grown, but also how these small little themes they keep throughout just naturally grow stronger and stronger as the years go by. They make this really well-rounded neo-soul and mature jazz-esque type of music that will honestly put your day at ease, and I am all the way here for it. Having these guys introduce the EP with a song titled Go was such a beautiful way to not only introduce new listeners like me, but also to show off their skill and set the tone throughout the rest of the EP. The pace of the EP then changes to a more up-tempo and more upbeat, as Linus, the main singer, provides some beautiful echoey vocals alongside John and Austin's amazing production. My favourite song by far on this EP is Heaven, and rightly so, because this track honestly sounds so heavenly. The way the song is tied together, how atmospheric it feels, the keys and the bass line just are so graceful, and it honestly puts me in a mood where I just want to go to a jazz cafe and see these guys perform all day long. Take It All is another beautiful track on this project that really breaks away from the main theme throughout the whole EP. It acts as a very nice interlude, but also gives you a nice keen understanding as to how these guys can do the nice neo soul and jazz, but then they can also do the up-tempo, very groovy type of beat, which makes this production all the more easy and all the more fun to listen to as well. And to round off this 18-minute long EP with the final song that is said and done, I honestly felt very, very satisfied listening to these guys. I'm honestly very grateful for my good friend, my brother, for putting me onto these guys, because the whole time I was thinking, where have these guys been in my life? And now that they're here, I find myself going back and listening to not only OPAQUE, but also their Selection Black Label EP and all the other projects that they have, including Smiley Drive. So if I were you, if you haven't heard of these guys, definitely go and listen to them. Definitely check them out. They're such a well-rounded and very talented group of guys, and I cannot wait to see what more beautiful things they're going to produce in the future. So Linus, John, and Austin, very well done on this EP. I honestly adore it, and I will continue to be listening to it for the foreseeable future. And that's it for today's video. My name is Archibald III. Thank you very much for watching. I honestly appreciate everyone who comments, everyone who likes, everybody who subscribes, and so hopefully in the near future we can continue being consistent with more reviews and music related content. So without further ado, have a beautiful day and peace.